Third time lucky. Here we go. So thanks for coming on. So today we're talking about a condition that you suffer with called neurofibromatosis. So can you give us a quick explanation for the viewers? What is
Okay.
neurofibromatosis?
Okay. So, in a nutshell, neurofibromatosis type 1, which is the type that I have, is caused by a defective 17th strand of the DNA. In everyone else, that strand of the DNA inhibits the growth of something called neurofibromin. Now, in people with neurofibromatosis type 1, that neurofibromin grows out of control, causing tumors to grow everywhere on the body, internally and externally, where there are nerve endings.
Okay. So you've had this condition since birth. Am I right?
Yes, because it is genetic, you have it at birth. For me, it didn't really manifest to the degree that I have it until age 29 after the birth of my last child. But every person that has it, it manifests differently.
Right. Okay. So how has this condition affected your life? So what has it restricted you from doing?
Well, now, because of the level of chronic pain that I have, I can't work any longer, which is kind of a really big thing because I've worked my whole life. Um, I can't do a lot of the things I love doing. I can't go on big long hikes because of the pain, and so um, just dealing with that. That's pretty much how it affects my life now. Um, in my younger years, because one of the problems with neurofibromatosis, it causes sometimes um, issues with maturing emotionally. And so I was always kind of emotionally a little bit younger than most of my classmates. It
Yeah.
also causes issues with learning disabilities.
I mean, I can't imagine how that is for you. Um, but always you always have a positive attitude about you, especially on your TikTok page, and you just make so many people smile. So I wondered what keeps you motivated and what inspires you to just keep going.
Raising awareness so other children with neurofibromatosis or with Down syndrome or any other thing that makes them different from what society considers normal. I don't want them to feel um, that they're not worthy because everyone is worthy. And so I want to inspire people who are a little bit different to not feel so alone.
I mean, and that's just brilliant. I mean, you inspire so many people, I imagine, as well, and you're just doing great work. So I wondered if for young people who do have the same condition as you, what advice would you give to those?
It doesn't matter what your outward appearance is. All that matters is what's in your heart. The only opinion that matters about how you look is yourself and the people who love you. Don't listen to any of the haters because people who bully often have very low self esteem and you're worthy of more.
Completely agree. So you spend a lot of time obviously spreading awareness about the condition on social media. But we know some of the people obviously on the internet are not the kindest at all. And like you just said, it's because they have low self-esteem and they have nothing better to do. So I'm guessing you get a lot of online hate.
I do. I've been called some pretty horrible names, but I just kind of, let it go past me. I don't respond to the hate. Mostly because I'm not going to give haters a platform.
No.
So I just ignore it, and um that's kind of worked for me because the people who follow me, the people who have given me my voice, because I never thought my TikTok would go explode like it did. I went from 200 followers to 1,000 followers in a week because of a TikTok I did saying that I was donating blood and that there is a huge shortage of donating, blood for donation, and to go out and if you're physically able to go donate. and I had some pretty rude comments, and my TikTok then, I mean, it grew out of control exponentially, more people than I'd ever thought I'd reach. And I just let I let my followers and the people who love me, I let them deal with the haters because I'm not gonna give them the time.
The time, and I'm sure a lot of people do respond in your comments as well who follow you and back you up. I
Yeah.
can imagine.
Oh, most definitely. And a lot of times they tell people to grow up, and they 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 say, hey, she has a condition she can't do anything about. Grow up, be nice to her. Um, how would you feel if this was someone you loved? And while this is genetic, this disorder that I have is genetic, it can occur spontaneously in anyone. I'm what's called a spontaneous mutation. There is no family history of this anywhere. And so, I mean, you can have nothing at all in your family, and then boom, you have a child, or your child has a child, and there it is.
So there's no cure for this, but is there any ways to ease the pain? Because I'm sure that the
Yeah,
tumors hurt.
yeah, yeah. I take a couple of different pain medications. I take something called gabapentin. That's a brand name. Um, it's more commonly known as Neurontin, and that works with nerve pain. And I take meloxicam, which is similar to Tylenol, but it works differently. Um, excuse me. And then I take a muscle relaxer, because when you're in chronic pain, when you have chronic pain, your muscles will contract and get tight, which makes even more pain. So I do that, and the itching is like horrible. So I have to take a prescription strength antihistamine, because when the neurofibromas grow, they release something called a histamine, which is an allergic response. So if, for example, you're allergic to a dandelion and you pick and hold a dandelion, you're going to get an allergic reaction because it's a histamine response. So I'm actually allergic to my bumps.
Oh, that's fascinating. So behind all of this, you're a very inspirational person and you're so
Thank
kind-hearted,
you.
and no surprise why you're so popular on TikTok. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your TikTok page and some of your hobbies as well. Um, so your name is Hurricane Mercedes One on TikTok. So I wanted to ask, where did that name come from?
Okay, well, Mercedes is my birth name. It's my given name. Excuse me. A few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, my mom, who is an author, was working with a bunch of other authors who wrote a anthology, and all the money was going to go to breast cancer research. And authors don't make a lot of money, and especially when they're going to be donating all their money to that they would receive from their royalties to a charity. There's no money for anything like promotions. Well, I'm pretty good at that kind of thing. And I took that and I hit it, and I got authors in all different states in their areas. I got them book signing, I got them in their local newspapers. And so my mom's friends dubbed me the Hurricane, because if I'm
Um,
passionate about something, I hit it like a hurricane.
so you
So, and
to
the name is stuck.
oh, sorry. Um, so you are into reading. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that, books and other things like that. So who are your favorite authors and what are your favorite books?
Well, choosing a favorite author, honestly, is almost and or book is almost like choosing your favorite child. It's pretty much impossible. But a couple of my favorite authors, my mom, I have to say, honestly, and she doesn't pay me to say that. It is actually true. I love my mom's books, because while they're romance or Western, they all have humor. A wonderful lady named Caroline Clemens, um, um, a lady named Anne Charles, and favorite book. One of my absolute favorite books is Mercy Bride of Idaho. my mom wrote this book, and the character's personality is based off of me, off of my personality. So that's one of my favorite books. It's not entirely PC anymore because there's a lot of controversy around her, but one of my favorite authors is J.K. Rowling's. I love the world she created, a world of magic and the underdog um coming out on top. So, that's kind of, I have a pretty diverse reading read interest in reading.
Yeah, and despite obviously what's going on with J.K. Rowling, she's a brilliant author, I have to admit, and I
Yeah.
love some of her books, especially Harry Potter. I mean,
Oh,
that's a masterpiece.
yep. Yeah, here in the U.S., it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I know over in the UK it's the Philosopher's Stone, which I actually kind of like that title better than the Sorcerer's Stone, but
So your mother being an author as growing up, that must have been, I mean, brilliant.
well, she actually didn't start writing until I was an adult.
Oh,
But my mom was always big on reading, and growing up we never had money. We did not have any money at all, really. But my mom always made sure that if I wanted a book, she would do her best to get it for me. And it didn't matter um whether or not the book was quote unquote in my age group. If I wanted to read it, she got it for me. Like for my 12th birthday, she got me the complete works to William Shakespeare, um, which I read when I was 12. She and my dad got me J.R.R. Tolkien's anthology for the Lord of the Rings. So my parents both all really encouraged me to read whatever I wanted.
so that's obviously that stuck with you all the
Oh
way up
yeah,
to childhood. So you're also into history as well. I saw
yes,
that.
yeah.
Um, oh,
All
go on.
history from the medieval times to even prehistoric history. I like it all.
Yeah, I agree. It's fascinating as well, just to learn about. And I used to collect antiques as well. I still have some
Yeah.
now. I just love thinking about what the world used to be like compared to now, and I love history myself and cooking.
Oh yes.
Cooking.
My mom and well, my mom has food allergies, so she doesn't can't eat anything that's prefab. So if it's something that we want to eat, we have to figure out a recipe for it that doesn't contain grains. She makes a killer pizza crust without any grains, no wheat, no corn, no oats, and we make cheesecake without a crust. And it's really surprising on how much different and how many more flavors you taste when you're not muddling up with, like, for example, cheesecake with no crust. You taste all the components of the cheesecake itself.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
So cooking. What is your favorite dish of all time?
um well, for savory, my mom's well the egg rolls that my mom makes. She makes a Thai style egg roll that a neighbor years and years ago taught us how to make. For sweet, anything lemon. Um, I
I disagree.
Lemons are one of my absolute favorite fruit.
I do not like a lemon whatsoever.
So, well, lemon is kind of like, well, like black licorice. You either love black licorice or you hate black licorice. There's no in between. Cilantro, or you guys call it coriander, you either love coriander, cilantro, or you hate it.
Yeah.
And so, which I like all three.
Well, there we are. I'm a hater because I don't think I like all three. Um,
Well, see, the coriander slash cilantro, there's actually scientific reason why you don't like that.
Really?
And that scientific reason is there's a taste bud that I lack, that makes coriander slash cilantro taste like soap. You probably think that it tastes very soapy. And that's because of a taste bud that you have. It is actually a genetic trait that causes you not to like it.
Wow, that's fascinating. I wouldn't have thought that. I thought I just didn't
Yep.
like that. I'll have to look into
Nope.
that.
And it's the same with black licorice. It's people who don't like black licorice tend to not like cilantro.
Wow. So another thing, and I'm just going through all the hobbies. You have
Yeah.
two cats.
Yes. I have two black cats. My my heart is with black cats. I love all cats, but black cats are my favorite. One, his name is Jelly Bean. He's cross-eyed. He's 6 years old. Um, he got that name because when we first rescued him, he was so teeny. He when he crawled up, he looked like a little black jelly bean. And so, and my other one, her name is Onyx. She is on the ninth. Oh, yesterday she turned 6 months old, and she's a little pure black kitty. Although she thinks she's more dog because she only comes to her name, not kitty kitty. She chases her tail, and my dad's German Shepherd is her best friend.
No, I love cats so much, but I'm allergic, so I'd never be able
Oh,
to have one.
yeah. My husband is too, but because I love cats so much, he deals with it.
I wish I could, honestly. Well, Mercedes, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Um, thank you so much for coming on. I've learned so much.
You're welcome. And if anyone, wants to learn more about neurofibromatosis, they can go to this website. I think it would be available, worldwide, and that website would be www.ctf.org.
Okay, I'll add that in
And
the description.
pardon?
I'll add that into the description of the
Yeah.
podcast so
Yeah,
people can.
and that's the premier entity that is doing research to find a cure for this disorder. And doctors, and it's set up for doctors and normal people to be able to understand and get information.
It's brilliant. I'll also set up your TikTok page as well so people can go see that.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
that is no problem. So thank you so much for coming on, honestly. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just be kind to one another. Kindness goes a long way.
It's great advice. So thank you so much. I
You're
apologize
welcome.
for the connection issues.
It's technology.
Technology, it is a pain. So have a
Yes.
great week. And I probably speak to you again at some point.
Yeah.
So
All
thank you so
righty.
much, and I will see you soon.
You're welcome. See you on
Goodbye.
TikTok. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.